Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. As always, I am your host. My name is Jeff, and alongside me is the Rockstar Spud to my EC3. It's Max, everyone. Max.
I think I'm okay with that one.
Yeah, it's not a bad one.
It's a good one. I like Rockstar Spud.
You still have a job. You still have a job.
Does he?
Yeah, he's wrestling in the Cruiserweight
I thought he was
interim.
fired, though. Or released or furloughed or...
Hey, 90 days. You still got to work for it.
I guess.
And he's doing that. But either way,
hopefully he wins the championship. That'd be awesome. But I know that.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably all a ruse. Well, either way, doing well?
I'm doing okay. My internet is crap.
Well,
recently.
Yeah. For those at home, obviously, if you're watching us, you already know. You could see Max is just a lovely profile picture. Having some internet technical difficulties, so we're actually and we have a lot of shows, so we're gonna kind of go right into headlines and go from there. But if you're listening to this on one of our podcasting platforms, nothing's different, so it works out for you. We have a great show. We're gonna do headlines. Got a lot to talk about, especially after last week's Impact. We'll do our quick 7, catch you up on the X tournament, and then go straight into a really fun game that our Mr. Impact blog, Craig, came up with for us. So we'll do Cross the Pond at the end. Let's get to headlines and let's get started. All right, first headline up is return of TNA. So Access TV execs were very, very pleased with the numbers and attention the TNA show did. Could TNA make a comeback? Do you want to lead? I have a lot to get off my chest with this. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I guess it could, but I think Impact is going in the right direction. I don't think it makes sense to, at this point, go back to TNA. I think TNA has a lot of negative connotations. I think when people think of TNA, there's a lot of fans who it brings back kind of some PTSD for some really, really bad, memories of them. So I think that I think Impact is moving in the right direction. I don't think it makes any sense outside of maybe, a takeover angle with TNA originals or something like that to really fully look to bring back TNA. So that would kind of be my thought process on it.
No, I know. I figured I actually thought you would be on the same page with me as this, but I'm actually the opposite, in a different way. So could it make a comeback? I don't think that's the question. I think that's a serious possibility. I think it's a very serious possibility. They just brought back the heavyweight title, and they keep talking about it more and more. And, of course, Access TV is paying your bills and is your parent company, technically. You're going to want to do what you can to please them, especially if the numbers were very, very good. So I think the real question is how or should, and you touched on how you think it shouldn't, but I'm with the should. And see, I think there's two different groups here. I think there are the people who are fans that it brings that negative vibes and memories to. And then I think there are people our age that as well that, TNA, and still laugh at it because they're basement dwellers or whatever they are.
Yeah.
For lack of better terms. But I think that next generation after us is the key to this, because as much as I like to say, I'd like to think we are still the demographic that matters. We're slowly, spoiler alert, we're slowly getting out of that, unfortunately. And now it's the kids of our people our age, or the fans slightly above the kids of our age. My kid's 1, but that are okay with the name TNA, that only remember the positive vibes or watching it with their parents when it was good. So I think there's enough interest there to make it worth it. But the how is what scares me. I think the numbers are good. You got to roll with it because even though Impact is going in the right direction, they've done a phenomenal job in the past 3 years of rebranding and giving some stability to what we know as Impact now. It might be as far or taking us as far as maybe they have come or can. And I know we've mentioned that before on a different show, but I think Impact Wrestling has its brand, has its has its product together, but unfortunately, I think TNA is still a more valuable product. And of course, it has 17 years compared to the 3 that it's been Impact Wrestling. But I think there's enough interest to make it worth it. And should we not do it just because there are some of us that have PTSD of it? No, unfortunately, because we're the minority. Should we not do it because some people are going to laugh at us for another name change? No. Once again, I think they're minority. As long as we put a good product out there and it gets some fans, we got to remember some of the fans that were watching WWE versus TNA, if you want to call it that, aren't watching wrestling right now. So you're going to have a lot of people that aren't in the game, that aren't the 2 million of Raw or the 0.75 of AEW and NXT, that do still have interest in TNA, and the name has some kind of value to it other than tits and ass. The how is what scares me, and I know you said shouldn't, but I want you to play devil's advocate here. And I know you said takeover, so that's a good way to look at it too, or an idea for an invasion or something of that nature, especially as the EC3s, the Rockstar Spuds, the Eric Youngs are now free agents. What way, say it does happen, could it happen? Like, where do you see? So obviously Moose has brought the belt out, and I don't want to get too far into that because that's the next question up. But what could you see working so it does not become WWE ECW?
I mean, that's rough because if you have them come back, if you have EC3, whatever, and they come back and they use the TNA name as their show, and I mean, I'm thinking even further back. I'm talking people like Joe Daniels, AJ Styles, people like that coming back to the company.
Right.
The problem is if they win, then do you change the whole name to TNA? If they lose, I mean, are you really going to have your originals? I mean, granted, at that point, if they're older, it may make sense for them to lose to the younger people. So I think that would be the best way to do it, is you bring them back basically saying, hey, you know, we were the ones that started this company. You know, when we were here, it was TNA, blah, blah, blah. They kind of adopt that name. And then you do it. It's kind of what the WCW invasion angle, I guess, should have been. Yeah, should have been.
Yeah.
Without all the good guys leaving and you having, you know, random jobber number 7.
Well, that's
the
the
guy
thing
walking
is
out there.
That's the thing is, you would, if you were to do this at all, the only way you think that it could work is if we have the AJs, the Joes of the world, and Dixie or whoever.
So. Yes, okay. I think you would need those type of original people who,
right?
Like, I want people who were basically gone when the company really transitioned into Impact. Yeah. I don't want EC3 who was here when it was TNA, but then was also here now. I want the originals coming back.
No, I agree with you there, and that's the hump I'm trying to get over. So of course I said I disagreed, but that's the hump is I don't like, and I don't want to get too far into it again, just bringing something back for shits and giggles. They mentioned the word, the company, the letters TNA probably 30 times on air last episode, and obviously now we know that Access TV is pushing for it, for that buzzword. Great, good. I'm glad it's getting them that. But if you just start to mention TNA, oh yeah, TNA, you do a homecoming, you do this, whatever, you had that 1 hour special with Joe Blow on it. I think there's no way you can please the hardcore fans, just like at that time with WCW, to the point when AJ's contract runs up, Joe's free, Daniels is 50 something. You know what I mean? There's not going to be that perfect storm of when all these guys are free that they all come there and can do that invasion. So I think that would be out the window. I think, unfortunately, the way they have to do it, for it to not look like the crappy invasion angle or the WWE CW thing, is you just have these wrestlers who are very adamant. Obviously, Moose now's character is very adamant about TNA, but the North and Ethan Page and all these people that pushed for TNA or had been into that love and have that passion for it, those people say, hey, we take the name, we take the moniker of Cross the Line. We have that attitude. We have already have the color scheme and all of that stuff. This is a new day, and we've changed. We've had identity crises in the past. We are TNA Wrestling. We're here to stay. Boom. And you just rebrand it. Because if you try to do the nostalgia thing and don't bring back the people you mentioned, and you're 100% correct, if you don't have those people, it looks second rate. And then you have, and I love Kid Cash and the character of Suicide, but them coming back, is that really TNA? No, and I think that's the gripe people can make about it. Should it come back? It all, at the end of the day, it comes down to viewers and dollars. And if TNA does that for Anthem and Impact Wrestling and Access TV, then so be it. I just think there's a stronger brand there. I love what Impact Wrestling has done to rebuild a foundation and to get rid of that stigma of that GFW garbage those years.
Yeah.
But it's hard to just say, is it a parallel move to bring in TNA now? That's our rebranding, and that's going to be our big next step forward. Now we're going to get more fans back and more buzz because TNA is a buzzword, or is that a step back in their eyes? And that's what we have to figure out. But once again, I don't think we're the masses anymore, unfortunately, that have that stigma about those letters. And I know you always said this, and I always agree it. There's something nice and nostalgic and feeling right about chanting 3 letters, especially TNA or ECW, but WWE, AEW, all these other MLW, whatever it may be, NWA, you can't chant those and feel something instantly, I don't know. So, could it be done? Yes. Should it be done? Perhaps, if done correctly. I just don't want another 1-hour special with anonymous people on it.
No, I agree with that.
So let's keep rolling. We'll go right to number 2 because I've alluded to it twice already. And the question he has here, Craig, our producer, happy birthday to him, by the way. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Craig.
Hey. Will bringing back the TNA World Championship whilst Tessa is away suffice? Or can they use it as a temporary prize? Can they use it as a temporary prize? So basically, while Tessa obviously wasn't at the last taping, so she wasn't able to defend at Rebellion, Moose came out. He had the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and that's where the first question comes from. All this TNA talk. He's claiming himself to be the TNA champion. And now we have a belt, at least in theory, to fight for during the tapings while she's in Mexico or wherever she is. What did you think? Let's start there. What did you think about Moose, the surprise of the belt? 2, how beautiful is that belt? If it had red on it, it'd be perfect. And can they use it as the temporary top prize and it make sense?
So, first off, I think the belt is beautiful. I love that belt.
Gorgeous.
I mean, next to, I'm trying to think in terms of TNA belts.
Right.
I think
Well, we know what's first.
Next to the tag team, their old tag team titles, it's definitely the best looking belt they've had. In regards to can they use it? I mean, obviously they can. And here's why it'll work. One, Tessa's gone. So you don't have to worry about him having a fake belt with and her there. Basically, she's gone. So as long as he holds this belt and starts beating people, someone's going to challenge him for it. And in the process, they're going to say, hey, if I beat you, I get that belt.
Right.
And then it's just going to slowly grow from there. It's no different than Eric Bischoff opening up the briefcase saying, hey, Triple H, here's your title. Go get him. Like, it's something that, or it's the same thing as the $1 million belt. If people come after it and want to wrestle him for it, it'll mean something from a storyline perspective.
No, that's
on top of that. Yeah, on top of that, what this adds is whether it's him or somebody else, whoever has it, when all this ends and Tessa comes back, it instantly puts her into a feud without you even having to like make something up. So it's not like an interim bout. It's literally she comes back and this person's like, look, you left, you were gone. I held this company down. I was the face of the company. I'm the real champion.
I carried it.
Yeah, I carried it. I'm the real champion. Doesn't matter what your belt says. And then you instantly start that feud. Yeah. So it really does allow you to still have a champion. It allows you to build up feuds and have a belt to fight for. And then when everything goes back to normal or whenever Tessa comes back, it instantly gives her a person to go right to with a storyline already established. I think
it's a great way of looking at it. You know, I'm going to be honest. Well, I try to always be honest here, but I popped obviously hard being a TNA mark when he removed the robe and you just see it there and it's like, holy shit. First of all, of course, let me get this out of the way. Heavyweight needs to be removed if we're going to keep it. But as far as everything else, it's beautiful. I think for a lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of people and seen a lot of opinions from the UK, that belt to them means a lot. That's when they got TNA over there. So there's a lot of different people that watch. I'm sure in South Africa, it's the same.
Yeah.
But that belt means and holds a lot more, even though it's the same lineage. That's where I had the issue. And until you said that, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think of it that way. To me, it was not, hey, here's a separate belt per se, but this is him taking something that is within the same lineage and trying to act like it's a total different brand. And I didn't like that. But if you explain it the other way and you just say, we don't accept it. Well, yeah, we as the fans, because Moose is a heel, or the announcers don't accept it. But in Moose's head, this is the belt. Then that works. And then she comes back and Tessa has, like you said, a built-in storyline. Boom, who is the real world's champion? And you go from there. I'm never about a prop being replaced because you're always thinking of that other prop or belt. So I don't know if that will be forgotten by the fans. We're like, oh yeah, we recognize Moose is the standard bearer. But over time, especially if they filmed so many, it's still going to be chased after by somebody.
Yeah.
Even if it's a returning somebody, or it's someone like Mike Elgin, who is like, this is the dumbest thing, which he made sure to tell us via Twitter, that TNA's dead and the belt means nothing now. But say he has a change of heart and he wants to shut up Moose and Moose has a face turn. There's a lot of different possibilities and routes that this could go. So I'm intrigued. But I don't think, devil's advocate, that it diminishes the Impact World Championship. I think it diminishes the TNA, and that's what I'm worried about. I don't know.
I mean, I think the only way it diminishes the Impact World Championship is if Tessa comes back and they still keep using the belt like nothing happened. I mean, if that's the case, then I think you have an issue because Impact obviously isn't as big as WWE, and there's no point in having two top belts. So,
yeah, and I don't see this becoming. And I know someone mentioned that as well. Is where maybe it's just a nostalgic act, and they'll have a hour show on Access TV for just TNA. Once again, I don't think there's enough performers to make it worth it. And if you're going to have another show, do you split up your small? I don't see that working. So I don't see this belt rising to prominence again unless the whole place is rebranded TNA.
Yeah, I agree.
And if Moose brings back maybe some friends in EC3 and Spud and all that, then we're talking a different situation here. But for now, that's a great point, and I'm with you there. So, but speaking of that, number 3 is, should the champions who are unable to defend during this time be stripped of their titles? Oh, it's such a heel question. I don't know. I'm a loss for words. What do you think about that?
So in a situation like this, I don't think they should. Obviously, if they get hurt, like if everything's running as normal and a champion gets hurt, I see no problem stripping them, having them relinquish it. Yep. In a situation like this where you have crazy things going on, people not able to come, safety reasons are saying, "Hey, I'm not going to come."
Choose not to come.
I think stripping them is just stupid. It doesn't, because obviously, anytime somebody's stripped, like look, the most recent one that I can think of primarily is Seth Rollins from WWE. When he came back, it's a big thing, and then it's that push for him to get his belt back because he never really lost it because he was injured. What's the big put? Hey, for my health, I didn't come out, and now you guys took my belt away. Like that's just it just seems stupid to me as a reason. And as I said, if you replace the belts with let's be realistic. If they go assuming certain champions don't come back, and then they just replace those belts with the old TNA belts, it once again automatically gives you an instant feud when that person comes back. Yeah. So I think stripping them was just a bad idea.
Yeah, it's hard because under the circumstances, it's not I chose not to defend this title, which is what the 30 days stipulation usually is for. A chicken shit heel doesn't want to defend it, boom. Or there's an injury, we strip. But when this is such a weird circumstance, I think we all just kind of have to accept the fact that we're just not going to have our Knockouts champion there, or we're just not going to have our world champion there. And no one from this company or any other company or a fan of any other company should hold that against Impact or WWE or AEW. Whoever's champion can't make it. We're dealing with the circumstance that's not really written for in the fake rule books of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So you just kind of got to grin and bear it and produce the best kind of show and content that you can for your fans, and not really worry about, if the business right now is a referee, it's like when they kind of look the other way when they've been outside for more than 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, let's just we all know it, but let's let it happen the way we're going to let it happen. So no, I think we could both say definitively no, but we're just in such a different landscape that there's no comparison to.
And I think that's the thing. It's a different situation than we've been in any time previously. So that's why you can't compare it to anything else.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, number 4. So we're continuing with the World Championship talk here. And this is actually a really interesting question because I never thought about it. Is the current incarnation of the Impact World Championship have a Madden-like curse? And when Craig sent that over, and it didn't resonate until I wrote it down and sent it to you, the format, and I was looking at it, and then I was like, oh, let me do some research. I despite popular belief, I do look into some of the stuff here, and did not just ramble on about things. But I look back, joking aside, and you really see from when that, we'll say, weird TNA era ended with Lashley to El Patron on, which became the GFW, to Impact to now where we're at with Impact. It's been a really weird World Championship run for everyone that has. So I'll recap just so you can hear what we're talking about here, and for those unfamiliar at home with the stats. So El Patron had it for 43 days after Lashley.
Okay.
He was suspended, so he was stripped of the title. Eli won that battle royal. So for 146 days, he held it. Okay. Both of those men no longer in the company. After Eli, it was the new era, this new Anthem era, with Scott and Don. Aries comes in his street clothes, beats Eli. Eli's push never comes back, and he's gone. Aries, obviously, before that, quickly loses it to Pentagon 102 days later. Pentagon loses it, well, it says 2 days, but that's taping time. But Pentagon loses it shortly thereafter. He's also, both of those men are gone. Aries for another 173. Once again, he's gone. He lost it to Johnny Impact in that interesting Bound for Glory New York that Chris and I were at. Johnny Impact, 196 days, gone shortly thereafter. Cage gets it, injured, and now gone. Sammy holds it for 79 days, and then Tessa is stuck in Mexico with the belt. So a laundry list of people and only 2 currently still on the roster. And we're going back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 10 reigns. So is the Impact World Championship, does it have a Madden-like curse?
I mean,
maybe call it AJ-like curse. It's like the Babe Ruth of curses.
I mean, I don't think so. I think it's just a matter of the.
You think it's just all coincidence?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a matter of the Impact. It's not a major company. In that time frame, you had AEW open. So you had people go there. The WWE started picking up a lot. Once again, AEW was opening, and WWE decided they were going to sign even more people than they normally do.
yeah. They WCW did. They stockpiled.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
I mean, the landscape does have a lot to do with it.
I don't think it's a bad omen. I don't think it's a bad way to look at it. I just think that it's. I mean, some of the Al Patron is fucking crazy. That's why he's gone. Similar thing with Aries. He's just a weirdo and is gone. So it's not necessarily that all these people are, just one and dones. It's a lot of them left for a reason. That's the reason why they dropped titles, is because they left. Even after Pentagon dropped the title, that he still was with Impact for a while.
Yeah.
So I mean,
no, you're right. It could it be just the perfect storm of craziness? Yeah, it could be. You got to figure there's a lot of things that happening at once here, which you alluded to some of it. The landscape is one. No one pictured AEW being open. Now, granted, Pentagon is the only one there currently of this group. Cage maybe supposedly going there. The rest are in WWE or not wrestling, or are wrestling for like Aries, MLW, or other places. Or NWA with Eli. So I think in this instance, even though the stats would say otherwise, I think you're right. I think that it's just how the cookie crumbled, so to speak. Like El Patron, you're right. Whatever happened. He was stripped. Eli wanted his release eventually after, but it's probably how he was booked. I think that's fair to say that he was right on that. Pentagon was just there to cover up for the El Patron crap. So Aries lost it, then Aries won it back. But his contract expired, then Johnny Impact's, and then his contract expired, but he did wrestle a couple matches after in the X division. Cage got injured. I think it's just flukes, a lot of coincidence, a lot of landscape change. It's just the perfect storm of stuff that happened at once, and unfortunately, again, Impact is the one getting hit with it. At the same time, there has to be something to say, and this isn't trying to be negative, but devil's advocate here, that some of these people's contract was about to end while they were champion. So that brings up the question of, on the way out, Are you the kind of company that makes the champion look good, sends them with a nice farewell, and they lose it to someone else and they pass the torch with? It seems Impact that's what they've been doing. Or are you the type of company who says, oh, you're not re-signing with us, even though we know we can't provide what other companies have, so we're going to bury you? I don't know. I like to think that we're the first version there, where we give you the rub on the way out. Thank you for the hard work you've had. Here's a championship run to catapult you to wherever your next stop is. Maybe it's just them being the nice guy. I don't know. But is there something to that? Is there something where business-wise you believe, because of where Impact is right now as far as what they can provide or offer, and people are going elsewhere, should you have that mindset? Does it hurt the business of Impact to have the champions be given a nice run before they leave?
No, because I mean, I don't think you think of what their reign was, them leaving, and then what they did after. You're like, whatever. Like,
right.
Them leaving on top. Like, it's because one of the things that I think of in wrestling is always when you see somebody like Goldberg or Brock Lesnar. Like, if these guys aren't champions, like, what do they do? Like, they're so dominant that when they're not champions, they just leave the company, because you can't just have them run through people and then eventually not say, hey, I'm going to a champion. So the other option is they go from being main event guys to like a second tier
tag team champions.
Tag team champions like Seth Rollins. But then once again, Seth Rollins did his whole thing and now he's right back in the title picture. Yeah. So if you're really trying to build up new people, having them drop the title and then leave just allows you to bring up new people without having to figure out, what do we do with this person now? Like, at least with Pentagon, they said, hey, we'll go ahead and put him into a tag team with his brother. Awesome. That worked really well. It was awesome. But like,
yeah, no, that's true. And I mean, the same with Sammy. Like, ICU stuff aside, they were like, Sammy's going nowhere. He's a big part of this company. But how do we get the belt off of him without making him look like trash? And they put over Tessa, and they had to figure out a reason. And then, granted, they found the ICU to repackage him and make it work. And one of my favorite entrances, I must admit that, which will be in the quick 7, it looks like. But production on his entrance is phenomenal. So, but yeah, you have to. It's another roadblock that you have to figure out when you have someone on your roster that's champion, and then they lose. Do you have the rematch? Do you do that staleness? Where do you find a part for them? I'm not saying I want all of our champions to leave. It would be nice to keep some of our own, but I see the positive in what you're saying there. I really do.
It's like when Aries, when he was doing the whole belt collector thing, and he was coming out with like 27 different belts. Well, if he drops the title, he's gonna come out with 26 belts. None of them. It's not the Impact title. Then, like, who gives a crap that you have all these belts? Then at that point, it's so. Right. What made it is he's like, oh, I'm the world champion here, and then I'm also the champion of all these other places. So it's like when he loses and just leaves, it's like, cool, that works, because now you don't have to like just drop this gimmick. You don't have to figure out like, what are we doing with him next?
No,
I agree. I mean, with someone like AJ, who's such a big star, he doesn't need the title. You have certain people who don't need the title and they can do things, but then you have other situations where guys, they're booked so strong that they either, even if they don't need the title, they're eventually going to get back there, and then you're like, well, what do we want to do?
Where do we go?
Yeah, do we want to be the WWE, where I just pulled it up. Let me look here real quick. So the Universal title. So this is going back to 2017. We have Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar. Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Goldberg. And now we have Braun Strowman. Like, it's just Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and Goldberg basically passing this thing around with like some random dude who's like, hey, Kevin Owens, here, have it for a little bit, because, so it's like, do you do that, or do you actually say, hey, we're going to use this to build up? And I think that's a better thing for Impact is, although you're losing people, you're replacing them with stars who you're
Right.
helping to build up. So
Yeah, it's that final. As much as I would like to keep some of them, especially the young ones. Let's not get that mistaken again. Um, okay, Abby's being nuts. Um, well, of course, I want to keep those people, but if you're going to do it that way, and you understand, once again, you understand the position you're in as Impact Wrestling and what you can and cannot provide, it's better to create a new star and show people you can do that while showing veterans that you will send them off nicely and kindly and make them look like the stars that they are as well, even while losing. And that's a big testament to this management team and the style they have. And I think it gets back to what TNA even was, which was more of a family. We take care of, well, we thought at least we take care of the wrestlers. The wrestlers have taken care of us, and it's a nice synergy there. So a lot of ways to look at that, but Madden like curse, I won't say that. Last for our headlines, we're going to get right into that and then go right to the quick seven so we can get to this fun game. Impact have opened all the divisions regardless of size or gender. Hence I think the heavyweight should be off of the TNA one. Who do you think will be next to cross the line, pun intended? So what he's asking here is we have Tessa who crossed over to the World Championship. I know we've talked about where the belts in stature seem, and I said I think the knockouts are the men's individual and the female, or the knockouts are the female, and they both could go for the heavyweight. But I think this draws some really interesting. Where does that shade of gray end? Can we say, at least I know we agree on this, Tessa excelled so much at the knockouts that her competition now has to be men, right?
yeah.
But when do we see it happening, or do we think it's a good idea for a man to win a knockouts or the women's to step in the tag team division?
So
Do we
hear
see
me
that
out.
coming soon, and should it happen?
Moose wins the knockouts title and just bulldozes through the knockouts. And when Tessa comes back, he sets up this awesome match of him versus Tessa after he's basically just been brutalizing the knockouts division. Huh?
That works.
I don't
That
think
works.
so. That'd be horrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right, because the only way something like this, and I said the same thing with Tessa losing the World Heavyweight Championship, the only way a male can win the knockouts title and it not or looked at as stupid or whatever, it has to be some vengeful thing where a male is mad at Tessa, say a Moose, and just starts taking out the women.
Or you bring in Santina.
Oh,
and I think that would be great too. I think that'd be awesome.
Don't degrade that title. Oh my God. No, I hope it's not that, but I agree with you there. I think there's very few instances where winning the world works for a woman, honestly. But I also think there's a hell of a ton of barriers for a man to win that knockout.
Yeah, I mean I think I could see like Taya winning the X Division title.
Yeah, I could. Well, that's what I wanted to get to is I can see the answer to this for me is I can see the next barrier crossing. Once again, if the Moose thing works, that's freaking great. That should happen with the knockouts. But I think it's about a woman being the first X Division, and Ty is a great example of that. So kudos to you there. That's a good idea.
Or even like a mixed tag team winning the tag, not like a full women's tag team, but
that's what I have written down actually.
Had Johnny Impact still been here, you could have had Ty and Johnny go for that. Would have been awesome.
Yep. See, that's what I actually have written down. Great minds think alike, Max.
Madison Rayne and Josh Matthews. Boom, baby.
No. See, for me with this, it works for X Division. It works very select for male to knockouts. It works a little more room to play with when it goes from knockouts to worlds. Because we never mentioned this. A knockout like, say, a Rosemary, even a Taya. Well, maybe not Taya, because she's kind of looked at as a superstar status. But say Jordan Grace, whoever it may be, they can upset the world championship if it's a man at any point. But could they the next week get their ass kicked by a Micah Elgin and lose it? Yeah, that's a possibility. But there's that shade of gray that allows women to take the world championship a little bit more than there's a man to take the knockouts.
So think of it this way. So let's do it this. So obviously, I think eventually they're going to want to get Tessa back into the knockouts. I mean, right now they have Tessa. So. I don't think they're going to continue to blur the lines. I think they're going to go back to the divisions just because it does make it hard. Like, are you really going to tell me that Abyss, like, if he would come back, is he really going to be wrestling Tenille? Like, no, he's going to destroy her. He's like 360 pounds.
But it's how you book it.
Yeah, but I could see it do something like this. So let's just say, hypothetically, Moose decides he's going to win the knockouts title just because he wants to, stick it to Tessa or whatever.
Right.
You have the men's, I'm going to win the knockouts because I can. So he wins the knockouts. So now Tessa then has to become the savior of the knockouts division by getting the title off of Moose, similar to how Brian Kendrick became the savior of the X division, getting it off of Abyss. So she then
such an asshole.
So then but that's what he was booked as, even though. I know. But so then what you have is you have a title versus title match. So the winner has both titles. So Tessa beats Moose. She's now the world heavyweight champion and the knockouts champion. And then if you want to have her drop the world heavyweight championship, you just do something similar to what WWE has done when people hold two titles. You have her defend the title twice, both titles in the same pay-per-view. So her first match is the knockouts. She wins that. She's still the knockout champion. Well, now she's tired. Now she has her heavyweight title match. And that person beats her. So then even though she's no longer the heavyweight champion, you can still look at it as though, man, she fought two people in one night.
Right.
And won the knockouts and still put up a great fight in the second match. She still has that star power. So it gives you that option if you would want to reset things back to where we're just going to have the women wrestle the women, the men wrestle the men.
Right. I don't know if we'll get that place, but I think you're right. And I think that's a really good idea as far as how she can lose it, not just by some guy beating her straightforward, but there's obviously ways you could play for her to keep the belt, but there's obviously ways around for her losing it. But I think that establishes the world is up for grabs. I think the knockouts slight, as I was saying, X Division for sure. The only one I don't like, unless you do a mixed tag, is the the World Tag Team Championships.
It would have to be a mixed tag.
What's that?
It would have to be a mixed tag.
Yeah, without trying to sound sexist or whatever way you want to spin this, facts are facts. If it's the North versus even Ataya and Jordan, who I think are both exceptional, out of this world competitors, two guys like that are just, I just don't see it happening. And I kind of prefer. I really prefer, and I didn't think I would ever say this, the TNA Knockouts Tag Championships coming back. The door's open for it, and I think maybe now's the time, especially with all the new people, that they've got some good knockouts there.
Yeah,
so
I think as long as you grow your knockouts roster and you decide to actually use them, as opposed to, and you build tag teams, as opposed to before when it was like the beautiful people
and you know what's funny is with Impact,
random person A and B teaming together.
Right. And you know what's funny, and that's what I kind of feel like, even though it was a great idea originally, and yeah, they had Sarita and Rosita, but there weren't really, and the beautiful people, but there really weren't tag teams established like there are now. Right now, I mean, you could easily put the Sue and Rosemary's together, or the Havoc thrown in there. Nevaeh just debuted, so you have Havoc and Nevaeh history there. Kira and Madison. So you have all these people, Tyra and Rosemary even. You have all these people that you can integrate together that have storylines together to make that belt work. But don't want to jump too far ahead. That was our 5 headlines. We're going to jump real quick to the quick 7. So quick 7, this is where we go kind of just a quick rundown. We each get about 30 seconds to talk about the next 7 questions, excuse me. Number 1 up, we have opinion on no audience. How you feeling about Impact's version of no audience shows or in general?
I mean, I'm kind of getting used to them. I still miss when something big happens, hearing the crowd reaction. I don't miss this is awesome and holy shit chants when someone does a fucking clothesline or a suplex.
Yeah, and beach balls.
Yeah, I don't miss that shit. But I do miss like the really big spots getting really big reactions.
Yep.
I miss that. But I think, I mean, I'm kind of gotten used to it. I think it puts more on the performers to really put on a good match. So
yeah, it's really. I mean, you see a lot of the basketball players crying when they said that they might have to play in empty arenas.
And the Knicks are used to that. They've been doing that all like the last 10 years.
No, we always sell out. We suck, but we always sell out. We're the WWE of basketball teams. No, positive here. I'm getting used to them as well. Don't want to take too much time. Of course, there's things like I watch Impact and I'm like, you know what? It's nice to just focus on the production, the matches, and these guys who are doing it with no sound. So what I was getting to originally about basketball and that these wrestlers are going out there and busting their ass with no instant gratification or knowledge of, was that a good spot? Was that a good move? No outside interaction. It's crazy to be able to perform. It is the acapella of the wrestling world, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're killing it for the most part, but there's those moments where you're like, damn, Moose just removed, lights go out, spotlights there. Moose opens his robe and there's the TNA heavyweight, that would be a pop. Or as you mentioned before, the Matt Hardy AEW, it's still exciting, but the noise excites me even more. Number 2, speaking of noise, David Penzer, who was with TNA for 5 years, WCW way before that. And to me, who is, even though I love Christy Hemme, is the voice of Impact when it comes to ring announcing, has just signed a deal to be with Impact permanently. The reason I bring this up, one, I love David Penzer and his voice. It's one of those things that they're adding another layer of that old TNA foundation, which interests me. But also because Melissa Santos was talked about as from the fan base as wanting her to be the next ring announcer. It didn't happen. Maybe that has more to do with Cage or not. But are you happy he's back?
Yeah, I think anytime you bring back older people who, I'm trying to think of the way to say this without sounding like an asshole. I was going to say who weren't shit, but like, I think anytime you bring somebody back from the past who was good at their job, it brings in some nostalgia and it just shows that I think it's a good sign for your company. Like, obviously this WWE is a little bit different. Like, but when you bring back like the King on commentary, you're like, oh, that brings me back to the time when, you think of the good moments. You never think of the bad moments of people coming back. So anytime you bring back somebody who was with the company, one, it shows that they obviously liked the company enough that they're willing to come back to it. So
or where it is now. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Their time with the company, they had to be some type of positive, because if it was a raging shitstorm, even if it's changed, you're not going to be willing to give it a shot. So even if you were with it during a bad time, there was something there that you're like, you know what? I still had some type of positive view of the company. And now that things are better, I'm even more willing to come back. And I just think anytime you bring somebody back, also it makes you wonder who could be the next person. If you're going to bring, who could be the next person that joins from the past? Who could be, are they looking at other people in other spots? So I think,
can they contribute still? And unlike a wrestler, a ring announcer can still go no matter how old he is.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have his voice back, and we'll just lead really quick into number 3, which is production value. And the reason I mention that is because I've been iffy on some of the production prior to all of this. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of filters, a lot of weird, and I always get I hope I don't get this wrong. I'm Lebanese, so I should be able to pronounce it. But David Sahadi. It's David Sahadi. He's been the director for a while back then with TNA, and then left, and now he's back again. Even though I butchered his name, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the TNA angles. Let me say that. I remember Rude, on the ropes or on the turnbuckle and the camera going down. I remember the big pan when Abyss comes down the entryway. They're doing more of that So it's starting to sound like TNA again. It's starting to look again like TNA. But that production value, even if they don't rename it TNA, it still has that nostalgic wink to it. So where you feel comfortable, but it's got a kick-ass product. So a new age product. I don't know how you feel about what it's been looking like or where it's at or where it's headed, but
so I like it. I like where it's at. I think it's looked good. I remember in terms of like bad production, if I'm picking a time, I think it was when they were on. So before being on Access, they were on
Pop. Well, no, excuse me. The hunting
Pop,
channel, whatever that crap was.
Yeah, that one. Before that was Pop, and then before that was Destination America.
Yep.
Okay, so it's when they were on. I'm pretty sure it's when they were on Destination America, where they were. I think it was like right at the time, like when it was about to end, they knew they were leaving. I remember watching it and it just being like, I'm pretty sure it was when Pope was commentating. Yeah. It looked. I may get some heat for this, but it looked like ROH to me, and I hate ROH's production. I just think it looks like crap a lot of times when you have 27 people in the crowd or whatever. It didn't look
fair
good.
Is fair.
It looked to me like a third or fourth or even fifth rate production value. And I think there's a fine line to walk because obviously, you're a smaller company. You're not going to keep up with what WWE and even AEW look like from production because you don't have that money. But I think they do a good job of not looking like a small independent company, but also, not look like they're trying to copy what WWE and AEW are doing and they just can't pull it off.
I agree.
So I think they do a good job. I like where they're at right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Dave back in the truck and I think I don't want to, someone's going to say, oh, they do have the money. Yes, they do. The company that owns them does. But the budget and the money that's to stay in the black that Impact has, they don't have the money to put on a boneyard match or whatever. Can they put on their own thing with the creativity they have and make something better out of it? For sure, yes. I think, and not biasly, they have a really good production team led by Dave now. And the stuff looks as top-notch as you can and smooth and clean for a company that isn't on TNT or Fox. So next up, back to the TNA, we have a back-to-back one here is, what is the next TNA thing you would want to come back? For me, I already said mine, and I'm going to rush through it just because we're trying to keep on time here. TNA Knockouts tag. Now I am dead set on that. It can't be AJ.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. It's gone through a couple different names, but I would like their television title.
Yeah,
I understand that
cool.
The X Division is technically their second belt.
Right.
But I'd prefer there be a bout for people who don't really fit the X Division, but might not be ready for the heavyweight.
Yep.
So I
kind of think this is what the TNA belt is for Moose right now.
And that could be it. Maybe they transition that, but I think that belt that the Eric Young found in the trash can and started wearing around and not one with like crazy rules like the was it Grand Champion? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah, not something like that. But I just want like a normal belt, but like a normal mid-card television legends, whatever you're gonna want to call it.
Well, I wanted to call it the Access TV Championship, but now there's a TNT Championship.
Yeah, and I'm glad that unfortunately AEW did that because that's the dumbest name for a championship ever. To name outside of the United States Championship, working for WWE being on USA Network because the country is united, naming a championship after the station that you're on is the stupidest thing you can possibly do.
I don't know. I would like an Access TV Championship. I don't know.
Like,
okay, well,
get the hell out of here.
I don't think we'll agree on that. What about what you don't want to come back? Is there one thing you don't want to come back?
I mean, the Grand Championship, I don't really want to come back. Not
That's
really.
more Impact, though.
I mean, not really. I mean, most of the stuff they don't have. Like, I think Feast or Fire would be cool.
There's nothing really I don't want to come back besides Crimson.
It was King of the Mountain, where you have to climb up, hang the championship, come down, read a.
It's not as difficult as people make it.
read a speech that you prepared the night before, climb back up. I don't like that. That's that.
I don't mind it. I think it's actually a fun match. Reverse Battle Royal, another story, but the King of the Mountain I will enjoy. Next up, best knockouts of all time, especially after adding Nevaeh. I think that's something we should save for a bigger conversation, just because looking at both rosters as I did today of, I think, what is the peak of the knockouts division compared to now, it's a real comparable, interesting, if you take the nostalgia out of it, conversation. So we're going to save that one, actually.
Are you talking about who is the best knockout of all time?
No. Best knockouts roster.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just about who's the
locker
best
room.
knockout.
No, locker room.
Okay.
All right.
So
really quick, we're going to take a small break, and by that I just mean the intro video for our number 7, which is our update of the X Division tournament. All right, guys. So we just had the semifinals of the longest X Division tournament in the history of podcasting. But we are down to our final 2. So by next week, we will finally be able to induct the best X Division champion of all time for the TNAIW podcast and fan. We'll start up with what's that?
AJ Styles.
Well, maybe he didn't win. Let's see. Christopher Daniels versus P.D. Williams was the surprising semifinal matchup.
I don't think so. I think it was well-deserved.
I'm not saying it's not well-deserved. It's just a surprise that Saban's not in there. Let's be honest there. But tomato, I guess.
He can't handle the Canadian Destroyer. That's what happened.
Okay. Daniels versus P.D. was 63-37 in favor of Christopher Daniels. So Christopher Daniels, congratulations, is one of the finalists.
As much as I love P.D. Williams, I voted for Christopher Daniels on this one.
You did. Smart move.
I did.
Sometimes you got to take it on the chin and vote for what's right. The other matchup was AJ versus Joe, 69-31 in favor of
AJ Styles.
No, I'm just kidding. AJ Styles. Now,
I'm surprised
as hard as it was
close.
for me, I voted AJ.
It shouldn't have even been that close. It should have been 95 to 5%.
It's hard, man, because I've watched these people from day one, so I know what kind of.
This is like Jordan versus LeBron debate. There's the correct answer, and it's Jordan, and in TNA, AJ Styles is the Michael Jordan of TNA.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. All right, but what that means is we have the best friend matchup, a matchup that we've seen tons of times, but it's always great and delivers. AJ versus Christopher Daniels in our finals. Who knows what will happen? I'm excited to find out. I know you think it's AJ. We've all made that clear. I think it's AJ, but the possibility is out there, and it's up to you guys to vote. We only get 1 vote each. You guys vote, but next episode, guaranteed we will have the best X Division champion of all time.
Woo. The real question is, once AJ wins this one, does he also win the best heavyweight champion and best tag team champion? The tag team champion is going to
clean house.
I mean, the tag team champion is going to be rough.
It's possible. We'll find out.
You got Beer Money and America's Most Wanted, both of which I think. I think
there's some other ones in there.
AJ and Tomko, unfortunately, just don't seem like the powerhouse team that AJ by himself is.
All right, guys. Well, that's the X Division tournament. Make sure you guys vote. Keep up on that. We are now actually going to take a commercial break. And right when we come back, Kristen, from my co-host of the Light TNA Jams, will be here to host our new Cross the Pond game that Craig has made for us. Stay tuned.
the TNAIW channel would like to extend its most sincerest of gratitude for contributing to this astonishing April. We very much look forward to the next month being just as astonishing, if not more so. With that being said, we now proudly present to you our coming month's scheduled content. This time around, we will add a touch of class and maturity to proceedings. Weekly, Cody, better known as Misery Eater 101, takes over our Twitter account. Interact with us as he gives you a weekly poll on Mondays and live tweets Impact on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday before Impact, our weekly power rankings are released. Wins matter, losses matter, and most importantly, your votes matter. Polls open Wednesdays. Our flagship show returns with the new look and 3 new episodes on Sunday 3rd, 19th and 31st. Listen, watch and laugh at the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Light TNA Jams releases its 2nd episode on Friday 8th. Kristen and Jeff listen to theme songs from throughout the years. Tell stories, take requests. It's gonna be magnificent, I tell you. Can you conquer the Hard 10 game show? Quizmaster Craig hosts an all-impact game show, sure to entertain. Play along at home or with Jeff. Sign up to be a contestant. Either way, enjoy. ODB approved. This month, Max and Jeff will be filming an exciting special. When will it debut? What will it be? Stay tuned for this good time. It's gonna be marvelous stuff, I reckon. Thank you for patiently listening and respectfully watching. We are pleased to provide mature and classy content for this month. It's gonna be me. Let's play on the list, bro.
All right, guys, we're here. We're about to play Across the Pond, a new game that he came up with called On the List, Bro. The host for this game today is the lovely, my co-host of TNA Light TNA Jams. It's Kristen. Hey. He's the Maria to my Mike Bennett. There we go, right? Aww. That works. We're dating. We're in separate rooms in the same house. Social distancing for each other. But I'm going to explain the game. We're going to make this quick. Once again, technical difficulties are setting in, but this is going to be really fun. So what Craig came up for us today is I will be leaving the room or muffs or some of that nature while Max plays. And Max will have a minute on the clock. Kristen will keep score and the clock as well. She'll host it. She will give us a topic, for instance, X Division champions. She will tell us how many X Division champions there have been over the course of TNA Impact's history. Max will have a minute time to name as many as he can in that time frame. I'll rejoin. I'll do what I can, and we'll see from there. So it'll be 3 rounds of this. Whoever has the most points, I think 58 is the most you can have if you get 100% right. So no further ado, let's pass it to you guys. You guys could do round 1. I'll step out and tell me when to return.
All righty.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready. What are the topics?
All right. So we'll do knockout champions first.
Okay.
There are 24 total.
24. Okay.
Okay. So we've got a minute on the clock. And I'm ready when you are.
Alrighty. So Jordan Grace, Taya Valkyrie, Tessa Blanchard, Allie, Gail Kim, Rosemary, I think Maria Kanellis won it.
Mm-hmm.
Brooke Tessmacher, Taryn Terrell, Angelina Love, Madison Rain, Mickey James, Velvet Sky, Did I say I might have said Gail Kim already? I'm not sure. Gail Kim, just in case I didn't. Awesome Kong.
Okay. You got like 5 seconds.
I can't think of anybody else.
Ah! Okay. So how do we tell them we're done?
I don't
know. Jeff!
See, we didn't think this through. He walked away.
Jesus
He came
Christ.
back. Okay, he's back.
All right.
That was Kristen, by the way. It wasn't Jesus Christ that called you.
Oh, okay. Mary of Magdala.
I got a tally up here.
How many did he get?
I don't know. I have to count.
Okay. Well, why don't we pause and we'll cut out you yelling my name and we'll add them up.
All right. So Max got a whopping 15. 15 out of 24.
I'm happy with
Okay.
that.
In a minute.
In a minute. Yep.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous. What's the topic?
Okay. Knockout champions.
Okay. I have to get more than... Well, I don't have to. There's 3 rounds, so I could just do the best I can. I'm actually very nervous. Whew. Okay. Tell me when you're... I'm...
Ready when you are. Flipping it now.
What's that?
I'm flipping. You're good. Go.
Oh, okay. Gail Kim,
Uh-huh.
Awesome Kong,
Okay.
Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, Taylor Wilde, Tara, Madison Rain, Jordan Grace, Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary, Jade, Havoc, Laurel Van Ness, Maria Kanellis, Sienna, boo. How am I on time?
You got like 5 seconds.
Who am I missing? Taryn Terrell.
2, 1.
Did you say Madison
All right,
Rain?
let's see where I'm at. Max, did I get any that you didn't?
I didn't say Laurel Van Ness. I didn't say Havoc. I didn't say Jade.
I'm missing a ton. I know. I'm missing. Now that I'm thinking and
say
have
Velvet?
brains about it.
Are you
Greatest-
ready?
Yeah, how many do I have?
16.
Oh,
So who did we miss?
Let's see.
Tess
You didn't
Mocker,
get Tesla,
Oh my God.
but Max did.
You did. Good for you.
Young. Allie. Well, Max got Allie. See, it's hard for me to tell because I crossed yours out differently.
ODB.
ODB.
You didn't say Mickey James.
Oh my God.
Winter.
Winter.
Brooke.
Brooke Adams.
That's
Yeah.
Tess Mocker.
Yeah.
Tessmacher, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Good job, guys.
Damn. All right. So we're 1 point lead. Okay, Max, do you want to go second or do you want to?
I mean, I'll go first.
You're going to go first on this, so I'll leave the room again?
I'll go second.
You'll go second.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
So you
lags
got to
a
leave the
little
room.
bit, so I can't keep my phone on. I got my camera because it lags for me a little
Okay.
bit.
Well, just mute it or something. I don't know.
I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna leave.
Oh, okay.
Yell my name. I'm gonna go get a drink.
Cheating.
We're putting a lot of trust in you right now, Max.
I know. What? I can't hear you.
Hi, do you see me?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Now you
Yes,
can.
we can see you.
Well, how do I know Jeff didn't walk around the other side of his camera and just listen?
I went to the bathroom.
Do you need to hear me pee?
Oh my God. Okay. So what's go away, Max. What is the topic?
We'll do pay-per-views.
Oh. Okay, like.
You're gonna name the first 12 ever.
Okay. Not in order, just name them.
Doesn't have to be in order, no.
Okay, so 12 months of pay-per-views.
Yep, from the first one.
Everything changes when the time starts, so let's just do it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, go.
Okay. Victory Road, I know for sure.
Okay.
Slammiversary. Bound for Glory. Against All Odds. Unbreakable. Sacrifice. Turning Point. Final Resolution. Genesis. Lockdown. How many am I missing? How many am I missing?
1, 2, 3.
3. Hard Justice. Victory
3,
Road. Destination X.
2, 1.
11 of 12.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
All right, I'm confident with that. Let's get Max back in here. Topic is and how many I got.
All right, Max, we've got the very first 12 TNA pay-per-views. Doesn't
The
have
very
to
first
be in order.
12?
Yep. Yep. Very first 12 doesn't have to be in order. No pressure. Jeff got 11 of them.
Woo!
So, ready when you are.
All right, tell me when to start.
Okay.
You gotta
Go for
Google it first.
Oh, just
Go
no,
ahead.
no. I'm not gonna get it. So, Destination X, Lockdown,
Okay.
Slammiversary, Bound for Glory, Against All Odds, Hard Justice, Sacrifice, Hell in a Cell, King of the Ring. That's all I can think of.
What was the last one?
King of the Ring. It's not. It's WWE one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. I knew the Hell in the Cell one.
That's King of that's WWE too.
Got like 2 seconds.
No Surrender.
Oh,
That already.
Fine.
you got that in though. You got 8.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
I just tried to think of one. Well, I knew the big four. Then I just tried to think of old ones that I thought of. That I
Right.
could think of.
One that you didn't get was No Surrender.
No Surrender. Yeah. Good job, Max. All right, so it's 27-23 in my lead. Do I go first or does Max on this one? Max, I'll let you choose.
I'll go first.
You'll go first, okay? So I'm gonna leave the room. She'll tell you the topic, and I will just yell for me again.
Okay.
All right, Max. So this one is the Bound for Glory main events. There are 23 different wrestlers that have been in the Bound for Glory main events. So we're going to try
Okay,
that
so
one.
just the main event of Bound for Glory.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Tell me when.
All right. Let's go.
So Jeff Jarrett,
Mhm.
AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Sting. Just start naming people. Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, James Storm. Crap. Samoa Joe. I don't know if I said Samoa Joe. I'm gonna say Samoa Joe again. Christopher Daniels. Jeff Hardy. Kurt Angle. I think I said Kurt Angle. I'm gonna say it again. Bobby Lashley. Holy crap. Austin Aries. He had to be in one of them. Bubba Ray.
And what was that one?
Bubba Ray, Bully Ray.
Okay. 3.
Oh, Drew
Two.
Galloway. I think
1.
that's his name. Matt Hardy.
I'll let you have Matt Hardy.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So how did he do?
He got 13 out of 23. The top.
So that gives him a total of 36. So I have to get at least 9.
It's people that AJ Styles has beaten. I'm just playing. Nothing.
He said the topic is people AJ Styles.
It's underwear colors that AJ Styles has worn during championship matches.
All right.
I got 13. It's
No
an impressive list of colors.
Okay, what is the actual?
It's Bound for Glory main events. It is the wrestlers that have been in them. Yep. There's 23 different.
In 15 years, there's been 23.
23 different wrestlers.
Okay.
So obviously, some wrestlers have been in multiple times.
Right. Okay. I need to get 9 to tie, 10 to win. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I know for a fact that the first one is Rhino versus Jarrett. Next, Sting, Jarrett. So Sting, Rhino, Jarrett. I think AJ and Sting was once, so AJ. I'm actually not as good. I know Rude and Angle because we were there. Then there was Jeff Hardy, Mr. Anderson, Kurt Angle. We were there for Johnny Impact versus Austin Aries. Why am I blanking right now? Sammy Callahan, Tessa.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my god! How many did I get?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, you
2 weeks in a row.
Yep, 11.
38 to 36. I'm gonna be honest. 1, that was fun. 2, I only beat you by 2 points, Max.
I think I had Matt Hardy. I said Matt Hardy.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Duh.
Drew Galloway, Lashley, James Storm, Bully Ray, Samoa Joe.
The easiest of.
I just started naming people. I was like, all right, who's big? Who's Christopher Daniels? Because there any others they won at one point.
Oh man, well that was fun. So I'm 2-0 in the games, but Max, this means since you did so well, you have to come on the Hard 10 game show and help me win that.
Okay.
All right, maybe
Since
next
I've
episode.
lost 2 in a row, though, you know what this means. I'm picking first in the draft. So the worst team always picks
We'll talk
first.
about that later. Want to thank, it was fun. Let's thank Kristen for being a part of this. Thanks, Kristen. I love you. Max loves you. Kitties love Max. All right. Thanks, guys. It was a fun episode. Max, anything you want to leave on, bud?
Nope.
All
Hopefully
right. Thanks for making this happen. Thanks, guys, for sticking with us even through technical difficulties. You can't see Max's beautiful face, but it was fun. Oh, you can see hers. And let's say that TNA Jams we film this weekend and comes out Friday the 8th. So that'll be fun.
Songs?
What's that?
Is it just TNA songs you play?
TNA and Impact. Yeah, you should watch it.
I thought maybe you.
Yeah,
I thought maybe you play like soothing music as you watch old TNA matches, possibly.
No.
No.
That's a good idea for a show, though. All right. With that being said, thank you guys. We love you. We'll talk to you next time. Be safe.
Later, guys.